What do we have for Aquarius, please? Six of Swords. Aquarius, that is your energy at the foundation. What do we have at the sacral, please? Magician. Gemini, Virgo energy at the sacral. And one more. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Strength card, Leo energy at the solar plexus. Now, this is actually very similar to what I picked up in the Taurus reading. The Six of Swords here is very clear. This is an energy of needing to move away from some sort of painful situation. And they're telling us here that this particular path is your rite of passage. Now, what I feel that this means, especially with the magician following this, is that Spirit, the universe, has put you through some sort of cycle in your life, some sort of test, to ready you for what is preparing to come into your life. There's some sort of major blessing here that's on the table, but it's not something that is going to be placed in the palm of your hand. This is something that Spirit is showing you how to manifest yourself. This is Spirit saying, hey, we're not going to give this to you. We're going to show you how to get it yourself. Quite a lot of you out there could be coming from cycles where maybe you shared things with people. Maybe there was other people who had some sort of invested interest in your foundation, however that may show up. Now, let me give you a really basic example of what I'm picking up here. It's like coming from a cycle where you had some sort of shared asset, or maybe you had a partner in a business that you started, or maybe you were in a romantic relationship, i.e. a partner. But now this cycle you're stepping into, you're going to be building something on your own here. So you ultimately have full control over it. Because I feel this Six of Swords was the result of whatever you built with said person or energy. So simply put, you are preparing to enter into a cycle where you are the sole owner of whatever it is you are building here. You are building a foundation that cannot be rocked or claimed in any capacity by another individual and or entity. Now, I feel that during this transitionary period that you're going through right now, there could be some uncertainty. You could be worried or have some sort of fear about what the path ahead is going to hold for you. But with the Strength card next to this Magician at the sacral and solar plexus, Spirit is telling us that you have everything you need to bring this vision to full realization. You just need to harness the inner strength and courage to get out there and actually do it. So in other words, Spirit is saying, hey, you don't need to deal with this situation. You don't need to deal with so-and-so. You don't need anybody's help with whatever this is here you're building. We're going to provide you with all the tools you need to do it yourself. And we're going to show you how to do it step by step, brick by brick. All you have to do is believe in yourself. Right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Pentacles. Now, when I see the Three of Pentacles in a spread like this, it's telling me that you are in collaboration with the divine. Just confirming what we said here. It's like this is a representative of the divine showing you how it's done, showing you how to do it yourself. What do we have at the heart position, please, Spirit? Queen of Wands, fire energy at the heart. Now, this is one of my favorite Queen of Wands to get from any of my decks because it shows three different levels to the Queen of Wands here. We have the Queen of Wands sitting in the throne right there. That's the back of her throne. Then we have this elder woman here, and then we have this young girl here. So it's essentially the three different levels of you: past, present, and future. And this gives an energy of alignment. It's like all these different versions of you are coming to help assist you in stepping into a new cycle. And when I see the elder woman here with the young girl, it's highlighting some sort of shadow work or some sort of inner child healing work there that you may be going through at this time. And this actually connects perfectly to the message, because the message was for you to have courage in the knowing that you can do this yourself. You're in collaboration with the divine. And this future version of you is having this meeting with your younger self. It's like future you is saying to your younger self, you can do it. We made it. You just have to believe in yourself. You don't need anybody to sign off on anything here. You don't need anybody to provide you with what it is your heart desires. You can do this on your own. I feel that a lot of you somehow thought that you needed somebody to sign off on something, or I'm just getting something intuitively around feeling as though you can't do something without some level of assistance. Now, this is going to show up differently for all of you, and you may not have all the answers right now. In fact, you probably don't. But this is a message here where the universe is saying that's okay. You don't need to have all the answers right now. Just know that we're making a way for you. And if you start believing right now, eventually you're going to end up in this cycle where you look back on this very moment and you're not going to believe how far you've come. It's going to feel like a flash in the pan. And again, I feel something similar came through in the Taurus reading. But the Taurus reading was more focused on how something incredibly toxic needed to be sacrificed in order to gain a certain level of abundance. Now, the message here is similar regarding that this is all connected to some sort of manifestation or something that the universe is trying to align you with. But this is more about believing in yourself and that you can do this yourself. Now, the Queen of Wands here encompasses the entire message because it's an energy of self-mastery. The Queen of Wands is thinking about where she's come from. Queen of Wands is thinking about where she's going, and she's becoming present in the moment. And this is what leads her to mastering the moment. It's a very self-assured energy, and it's very determined. This is somebody who's going to pull it off, come hell or high water, because she knows she can. She has a vision. Okay, yeah, I was just getting ready to say she has a vision of the future, but they wanted me to pause there and emphasize that. You have a vision. Don't let go of that vision. You're going to construct that with the universe's assistance. You just have to open yourself up to it. And I'm also getting some messages here intuitively around there being a grace period between you releasing any sort of energies in your life that may be slowing down the process. Now, an example of this would be you trying to collaborate with other individuals to bring forward some sort of vision, and the universe is saying, hey, why don't you go ahead and start releasing those energies now? We're going to start organizing things for you behind the scenes. They're creating energetic weight on your path. They're only slowing you down. And then begin the cleansing process, which I feel is a very important step to all of this. And I feel that that's really highlighting the grace period. Now, that's a very general message in that whenever we're releasing something from our life, there's going to be a little bit of a grace period where the energies settle again, and then the universe says, okay, let's get on with it. It's like the universe saying to you, okay, you've moved on from this space. Go ahead and rest up, heal however you need to, and then before you know it, we'll be on our way. And then right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Swords. So this just followed what I said. Okay, the Four of Swords is the energy of resting. It is the energy of recovery. So you decide to move forward beyond some sort of painful or unsatisfying situation. The universe starts to help you work on your confidence. Essentially, you realizing that you can do this on your own. Then you go through this energy of alignment. You start to see the vision clearly. Things are actually beginning to crystallize since you've released this energy. Then you go through the recovery process, Four of Swords. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? High Priestess, Pisces energy at the throat. Perfect. Now, the High Priestess is the card that represents divine guidance and listening to your intuition. It's also an energy that shows us that you're in between worlds. You're in between these two different realities, so to speak. The owl is dropping this wisdom onto your crown. This is just representing spirit. This is you being in perfect alignment. It's to say that you got the memo. You followed the guidance, and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. The High Priestess at that throat position, this is you arriving at your allocated coordinates on your timeline. Just a complex way of saying this is exactly where you're supposed to be in this very moment. And I feel that this is going to be a very obvious moment for you. I don't think we always get to experience the feeling of knowing that where we are in a moment is exactly where we're supposed to be. We may tell ourselves that, but truly knowing it and trying to convince ourselves of that are very different things. I feel this moment that you're going to experience inside this energy, inside this space, is going to be something that you've never felt before. This is you saying to yourself, yeah, I've never felt this before. This is completely new to me. I know for a fact that this is where I'm supposed to be in this very moment because everything is crystallizing. I feel like I'm at this crossover point and everything is possible. I feel like I can see through the passage of time, and all of a sudden my entire past makes perfect sense with the coordinates that I am currently standing atop of in this new timeline. This is you arriving in a certain space, Aquarius, and you know that the universe is with you. You know spirit is with you. You feel seen, you feel heard. The sound of the universe just hits different. It's like being out in the middle of nowhere and you start focusing on seemingly simple things like the wind blowing. It sounds louder. It goes right through you. It makes you feel like you're a part of all of it. The leaves rustling on a tree all seem to make sense. Everything around you feels more alive than it ever has before. Your senses are much sharper. You have a more acute awareness of yourself and your place in the universe. Life just feels different. That's what we're getting here. And all of this is representative of somebody who's closing out a major karmic cycle in their life. They're going through this crossover point. But the difference here is you got the guidance and you followed it. Most people don't do this. They like to talk about it. But what you're accomplishing here is not something anybody can tell you about. Because I feel, Aquarius, nobody in your current reality has gone through what you're about to go through or what you may be going through in this very moment. Something here is different. This feels revolutionary in the context of the lived human experience. It's something that people read about but never quite understand unless they have gone through it. And that's where I'm at with you now in this reading, Aquarius. Only you're going to understand these messages. To anybody else, it will just sound completely foreign. They'll like to think they understand what we're speaking about here, but they don't. But you do. Oh, you definitely do. You were made for this. This is trailblazer energy here. And it's about time. You've been working up to this for a very long, long time, Aquarius. The amount of work you've put into yourself to get to this very moment is, well, I was going to say it's taken a lifetime, but we both know it's been a lot longer than that. And right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit. Now, perfect card to follow everything we just spoke about there, because that really is a Hermit kind of energy. Your connection to Source and this inner knowing that you have is only ever accessed by a very small handful of people who are willing to actually put the work in tirelessly. It takes great sacrifice to get to this point. Most people can't see it through. They give up. But you kept pushing. You've been pushing for so long, you forgot what you were actually pushing for. You probably stopped several times to remind yourself, oh yeah, that's right. I've been working towards this. Boy, I've been at it for a long time, but here I am. All right, might as well keep going. You got so used to remaining in that space, you found a certain kind of peace without the need for a conclusion. This is you just basically saying to yourself, you know what? This is how it's going to remain from here on out. I'm okay with that. I don't need to figure it all out. I'm just going to trust that the universe has my highest good in mind. Now here you are. Didn't even realize that you were rounding out your last lap before the breakthrough. You're starting to see this light at the end of the tunnel. Oh. Wait, we're actually about to arrive somewhere? This is actually going to happen now? What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? Eight of Cups, Pisces energy. Perfect transition. Now, this Eight of Cups is you preparing to move on from this previous cycle. You're understanding that you have been in a multi-stage process here. You've been slowly edging towards something. And I also just heard as well as edging away from something, which I feel like goes without saying. Obviously, the more distance you create between yourself and what you've left behind, but they wanted me to reiterate that here in that particular vocabulary. But this High Priestess and Eight of Cups is all Piscean energy, and it's speaking about just how truly sharp your intuition is right now, and how on top of the guidance you truly are. This is the universe saying to you, all right, Aquarius, you need to take 2 steps to the right, then you're going to jump forward and take 3 steps to the left. And you do it. You don't even question it. You don't sit there and let it marinate. You take action. And you are witnessing a whole new reality beginning to materialize before your eyes. You're understanding the greater mechanics of manifestation. It's something that anybody could truly access, but few ever see all the way through, because it takes great discipline, it takes great sacrifice, it takes great faith, because you are going to hit all sorts of lows. You're going to hit many obstacles. You're going to be faced with twists and turns that you're convinced you can't navigate. But when you push through all of those things without question, you will see the universe materialize great miracles in your life. And that's where we're at now. Finally on the last lap. You feel it. You know it. Something is taking shape on the horizon line. Picking up something emotional here as well. I got a little choked up just thinking about you seeing that manifestation take shape and the feeling that washes over you. It's exciting, but there's also this guttural kind of emotion. And what I mean by that is damn near knocks the wind out of you. It's like you finally realize that something is going to come to pass. And the emotion connected to this it's so overwhelming that it eclipses any sort of joy you have ever felt before. In my mind's eye, they're showing me an individual who has been trekking through a barren wasteland for God knows how long, and there's no sign of life in sight. And then finally, they just trek over this hill and they see life. They see civilization. And the emotion that they have when they realize that their time in the barren wasteland is now going to come to an end, they lock up with emotion, the deep guttural kind where you feel like you can't breathe. That's how exciting this is. And right on the bottom of the deck, I just saw this Ace of Cups. Okay, so pretty much all the cards have followed what I've said, right? As soon as I deliver a message, we see a card that is relevant to that message on the bottom of the deck. Now, the Ace of Cups is that overwhelming emotion. What do we have at the crown, please? Nine of Swords, and it landed right on top of that Six of Swords there. Okay, so Nine of Swords upright is an energy of stress, anxiety, energy of depression. So I feel that this is what you're leaving behind. And given the fact that it came out leaning more towards the reverse, that's telling us that, yes, you very much are leaving the stress and anxiety of this situation behind. And that's why all of this is happening. See, that part of the message is similar to what we got in the Taurus reading. Spirit was trying to convince Taurus by sacrificing something that is not for their highest good, they will open up the door to some sort of new blessing. Very similar here. And I would say that that is something that just about anybody can access, right? Of course, if you leave something behind that is not serving your highest good, whether it's a person, a place, a situation, a behavioral pattern, an addiction, of course, things are eventually going to get better. That seems like it would be a basic universal law, especially when it comes down to you putting yourself first, you putting your health first, you putting your highest good first. That's always going to turn out in your favor. Now, the Nine of Swords in reverse is you recovering from this situation. It's over. This is you on the new timeline, thinking back to how far you've come, thinking about how close you feel to the universe now, how connected you feel. You feel integrated. I feel a lot of you are coming from cycles where you almost felt like, I heard outcast, and that can show up differently for all of you. But sometimes we can go through life just feeling unseen or unconnected to the universe for whatever reason. And that could have been something that you dealt with on your path, Aquarius. But this actually all had to happen like this. Because a lot of the times, I would say, we go through those seasons of our life where we feel unconnected, where we feel unseen. So we have a barometer to measure what it actually feels like to be seen. It's like saying you had to experience what it was like on the bottom to truly appreciate what it feels like to be on top. You have run the gamut here, Aquarius, with whatever this is that I'm picking up here for you. But this wouldn't have been for nothing. And that's the point of this message. Everything has its place, and somehow, some way, your journey has its place in the story that you will tell moving forward. What do we have at the foundation for Aquarius, please? Page of Swords. Air energy. Underneath the Six of Swords at the foundation. So Page of Swords is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy, all the air signs. And this actually highlights what I just said, because I feel the Page of Swords here is speaking about you integrating all of the challenges you have faced in your life up until this very moment into the framework of this new chapter. Now, I feel that this is just a more complex way of saying that you have extracted a certain level of wisdom and now you're going to put it to use in this new timeline, which gives all of this meaning. And this is a feeling of arrival. What I mean by this is it's like arriving at a certain point in your life and truly being at peace, or just having a level of understanding that things had to happen exactly the way they did for all of this to happen in this very moment. And I feel that when we arrive at those certain points in our life, and we don't get a whole lot of those, we can probably count maybe on one or two hands how many we have across a lifetime, right? When you go through horrendous struggle and then you reach that point on your path and you say, well, that really sucked, but I think it all had to go down just like that. As horrible as that was, I've learned a lot from that. In fact, I think that that all had to happen exactly the way it did because it's a part of my life path. That's the point of arrival. And when you can be in that space and be present enough in the moment to respect the universe's decisions to put you through what they had to get you to that moment, this is another level of mastery, is really what it comes down to. Because again, most people simply, it's hard for people to do this. It's never easy, especially, depending on what it is the person's been through. There's no telling. But we got a lot of that sort of energy here. And I think you are getting what I'm putting down here. What do we have at the sacral, please? High Priestess again. Now, this High Priestess is different than this one. These particular cards I automatically read in their negative polarity. So they read like they're reversals, so to speak. This one from this deck is an energy of having a blocked intuition or just not listening to your higher guidance, not trusting yourself. And I feel that this is what you've left behind. This was directly connected to the Six of Swords energy. For some of you, there could have been an issue in your environment. Maybe you had a toxic person in your life that affected your own relationship with yourself. This is very common. If you have a very toxic person around you and you have to experience this person day in and day out, it's going to shape your reality. It's going to shape the way you interface with the universe, especially if you just continue to stay there. But this is a thing of the past. See, and this is also telling me that you have a clear barometer now of a life where you were getting the higher guidance, but you weren't putting any action behind it, and a life where you're putting action behind it now. And because of it, you are beginning to see these miracles unfold in your life. This is that point where you go, oh yeah, there is something to this after all. I completely get it now. See, when you're wrapped up in those cycles, you can't see the forest for the trees. You're so locked up in this very confined little space with that energy. There's something about being in a very low vibration that extinguishes your belief in there being life beyond what we can physically see. In other words, it's like you have little to no belief that spirit even exists. That's why it's so incredibly important. I mean, it's crucial for you to scrub your environment of any energies like this. If you have people around you that are like this, you got to get away from them. There's just no time to waste being surrounded by people like that, people that just drag you down, literally lower your vibration, drag you down. That's what that means. When you start to lose faith, it's like slowly dying, going through your everyday waking life with no sense of faith or understanding of the greater mechanics of there being life beyond what we can physically see and touch. It's a bleak existence. What do we have at the solar plexus, please, Spirit? Okay, we're just going to take this one here. Strength stacked with strength. But these are different. So we have High Priestess twice. These are different. We have Strength twice. These are different. Now, the Strength card from this deck is Strength in its negative polarity. It's an energy of self-doubt. It's an energy of fear. So now we're seeing what's underneath the surface in regards to the Six of Swords energy, what you've been dealing with. It's like this is night and day. You get away from this energy and this is a thing of the past. You turn everything around. You feel more connected. And you feel like anything is possible. And you don't need anybody else to make it happen. All you need is your connection to Source. That's it. Don't let people try and sell you fake support when you can get real support for free from the universe. What do we have at the heart, please, Spirit? Wow. It says right there, traitors and conspiracy. right? So this follows what I just said about people trying to sell you support. And what I mean by that, just in case that didn't translate, it's like people trying to tell you they can provide something for you that you can get through simply nurturing your connection to the universe, to source, to spirit. All you have to do is open yourself up to the intuitive guidance and then put action behind it, which obviously takes some courage and faith. But that's the real deal here. You know, this is the Sun card read in its negative polarity. This is an energy that's lacking in success. You know, this could go all the way back to what we said about being in partnership with somebody or something, and it feels like it's just made things worse, or maybe it feels as though something is further away from you, but it all had to go down like that. There always has to be a breaking point, and I feel that this is it. And the message again is to understand that, hey, the universe says, we got your back here. We can do this without them. And then we have the Five of Wands. And it says politics and ambition. So this is very clear. We're now seeing that this energy here placed multiple objects on your path to try and stop you or halt some sort of forward progress to this new cycle. Now, whether they consciously did this or not can be debated. It's going to be different for all of you, but at this point, it doesn't matter. You know, when it comes to these sorts of energies, they're sent by something. And that's really the only thing that matters, is that, okay, I don't know what's going on here, and I don't have the time and energy to try and figure it out. So I'm just going to go ahead and focus on my path ahead and get away from this energy as soon as possible. And maybe any sort of unanswered questions around these energies will be answered in the future. This is a really great way to look at these situations, because what I have personally found in my life, Aquarius, is that most of the time the universe isn't going to provide you with every last answer as to what went down with some of these opposing energies when you're still in the thick of it. They'll wait to get you to safe territory. They'll get you focused on what you need to build. And then when the time is right, hey, Aquarius, remember that situation back then? Yeah. Why don't we have a little talk about that? We want to show you a little something, right? See, they want to make sure that you're in the right headspace to receive some of this information. If you're still in a reactive energy, bringing forward any sort of exposure before you have removed yourself from the space can be sabotaging to your path forward. But whatever the case, this is just, again, further evidence of the universe working in a very systematic way inside your life right now, Aquarius. And all that matters is that you step when they step. Right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit card. So I believe we got the Hermit card right around here when we were on the top row, and now we're getting it here from this deck, okay? Now, this Hermit card says alchemy and transformation helps with spiritual progress. And that follows what we just said perfectly. So this is you understanding that there's a mechanics to all of this. And rather than pushing back or trying to force something to happen before it's ready to, you're trusting the universe's plan for your life in a way that you never have before. There's no questioning it. What do we have at the throat? Three of Swords. This is also really following what we're saying here, because the Three of Swords from this deck is an energy of healing and recovery. And it can speak about healing from some sort of heartbreak or some sort of pain, which can obviously be directly connected to this cycle you're moving on from. So again, underneath the High Priestess, this is you following your higher guidance. This is the universe saying, hey, don't worry about that right now. Let's just focus on what we're building here, okay? And this is you saying, okay, I got it, universe. Things are different now. I'm not in that space where I would have been reactive to this situation. All that matters is my path forward. That's all I'm concerned about here. And I mean it this time. And sometimes when I look at this card, I think about the sword and the stone. And as I'm looking at this illustration, it's like you were the one person that was able to pull the sword out of the stone, which is just speaking about this being your rite of passage, which is Six of Swords energy. What do we have at the third eye, please? Wow. Death card, Scorpio energy at the third eye. Endings and rebirth. Influences health and longevity. God, the end of the universe. This is a perfect card to get after all that. Because the Death card is the energy of transformation. This is the phoenix rising up out of the ashes of the past. Death to the old. A rebirthing of you on this new timeline. This is an energy of moving on. Aquarius, there's some big changes that are going to begin to unfold in your life. If you're who I'm really speaking to, if you've been putting the work in, and if this deeply resonates with you, then this is for you. Yeah, we have the moon card on the bottom of the deck. So Pisces energy again. So Pisces, Pisces, Pisces. Now, the moon is speaking about something that you don't see coming. I feel that this is this big change, I just heard surprise from the universe, okay? Goes back to what I said about focusing on the path for so long, you almost forgot what it was that you were going towards. You have to stop and remind yourself, oh yeah, that's right. Man, I've been at it a while. And then all of a sudden the universe says, yes, you have. Well, we've got something for you. All right, let's close out the reading. What do we have at the crown, please? 7 of Pentacles, Taurus energy at the crown to close out the reading. Now, this 7 of Pentacles just followed what we said in regards to you being on the path so long that you forgot what it was that you were going towards, because the 7 of Pentacles is an energy of patience, but the 7 of Pentacles is also an energy of you receiving some sort of fruits for your labor. This is the universe coming through saying, hey, we got a surprise for you. This is the vision beginning to take shape on the horizon line, like I mentioned earlier on in the reading. So Aquarius, however this is showing up in your life right now, it's important to just keep pushing forward, stay focused. Understand that this connection you have with the universe right now is the ultimate calibration point. It's something that is very rare. We don't get a whole lot of these. Some people don't get any at all. It just speaks about how deeply integrated you are into the mechanics of the universe. So it's very important that you know how truly loved you are, how supported you are, how appreciated you are, and how this is going to eventually all swing in your favor. So stay the course, enjoy the journey, because there will be a point when you're sitting having a conversation with the universe about your entire path up until that very moment. So with that, I will leave it here. All right, Aquarius, this is what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. If you enjoyed this reading and got something useful from it, consider giving it a hype, as those hypes really help with the video's growth, and they push it out to other people who may also enjoy the message. Information for personal readings can be found in the description down below, as well as information to join the membership side of my channel, where I upload additional videos each week. I'm also running a 15% off summer sale at PLUTOBEANstudio.com, which is made up of items that I have designed myself, if that's something that you feel like checking out. I would also like to extend my deepest gratitude to everybody who continues to support and donate to my channel. But in closing, I would like to know how this reading resonated with you. So please drop me a heart and or a comment down below, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.